Cold spot.
Right, thank you. So, wow, that was like the first answer. Normally I have to like draw it out of some of you guys. That was beautiful. And you said you watched only some of the TV shows. We do have an expert over here. Watch, I'm going to have to give her a job later. So you guys should be able to see me in there, right? Red, orange, and yellow guy. Oh, this is going to work out. Sorry, Danny. But that means I'm the hottest thing inside the frame right now. So normally if I have a bridal party, that kills, man. Like, you have no idea. It slays. My wife hates the line, but again, it works. But I point that out on purpose because we're looking for the blue and black spots. So we want them to eat. There's always going to be blue and black in the area, especially if we have a person in view. So we're going to always try to keep a person in view. But with that blue and black, I want it to take shape or to start moving on its own. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms and legs. Like, that's what we're looking for. Does this capture something every single night? Not necessarily. I would say I get probably 5 to 6 pieces that are solid, like this is paranormal, this is a ghost walking towards us, so forth and so on, per year. So again, this is not a TV show. We're going to talk more about that as we move along. There's a blue dot bouncing around your screen on this guy as well. What that's doing is it's showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. It's there to help guide your eye so you know what you're looking for. It is, I think, 81 degrees out here ambient for us tonight. So I look for 15 plus degree temperature drops. That's 66 degrees and below. So again, we're always going to have glass in view. If somebody just ran their air conditioning, again, that's why I look for the moving parts of it. So with this guy, it is a FLIR. Good to go. Just keep in mind with the vehicles, people may go to their vehicles, just go the opposite way and don't look like a YouTuber like Kara is right now. So, yeah, you want to almost keep it belly level. So that way people aren't so conspicuous of it. And also that kind of helps you, Kara, with that. I don't want crotch shots on there, brother.
Well, no.
That is a thermal camera, man.
It's facing you guys.
Anyway, that also helps you kind of keep the sky out of view in this location because it's almost impossible to keep the sky out.
Okay.
So we are going to spread out with this location. But again, just stay away from the vehicles. I'm going to give you guys a minute to get started with kind of listening in. Have you heard anything, Amber, at all? And I am going to keep Rochelle back for just a second.
I guess I'll keep you on my camera because I need a warm body on my camera.
What year did the tragedy happen?
Hello.
I can't hear it. Did you hear it?
I heard hello.
Hello? Hello? What happened during the tragedy? How many people died during the tragedy? What month did the fire happen? What year? Hello.
Is there anything?
Are you there? What happened at the tragedy?
All right, let me pull you over away from the cars and now ask you if this is, let's pull you away from the Jeep. Is this what you guys thought you signed up for now that you're actually seeing the thick of it?
Yeah, well, he heard a hello.
Okay.
Does that mean anything?
I'll take a hello. Like, the word hi wouldn't mean anything simply because she's a colonial woman. She's not going to say hi.
Right.
A hello with a little curtsy might actually make sense.
It's so hard to hear. I don't know
It
what
is.
he's saying.
And I don't know what I'm looking for in here.
Can you repeat
Blue and
that?
black. You want it to move. Take shape.
Hello, Kenny. I don't know what he's saying though.
Doesn't matter what gender it is. Think of that thing as Bumblebee from Transformers.
Well, I can't even hear it though. That's the problem. Is
not
I
easy.
don't know if I got good ears or not for this.
You'll get better at it. Most people suck at this at the beginning. Don't worry about it. There's a reason why we start here. It's really, really active.
So if there's like black here, but that's probably nothing, right?
So that
Like
black is
down.
just part of the ground.
Okay.
So in this particular location, because we have mud and concrete and all kinds of different things on the ground, especially the water after the rain,
Yeah.
I'm mainly looking at the warm wall that's
What
holding onto
year
the sun's
did
heat
the
from the
tragedy
daytime.
happen?
Okay.
So if a blue something goes across that orange wall, like now I'm excited.
Okay.
The ground has too many different types of material in
Gotcha.
it.
Okay.
And they're all going to be a different temperature.
What month?
But as long as you
was
keep
the
part of his
tragedy?
skin, like you have his arm in there perfect right now, you know what I mean? Like he's got shorty shorts on so you can get his leg. You know, just keep part of his skin,
What
his warmest
happened
temperature in
during
there,
the
so that
tragedy?
way we can see the cold spot go by, and it will show up as a blue or black blob moving over
So
it.
it won't like look like a person.
It may look like a person, but I'm also looking for anything that's colder in the air that can't be generated by a man-made object. There's nothing in here that's going to create a cold spot.
So like, well, now that he's gone, but like these blue things are just those windows.
Yep.
Okay.
That's it. You got it. You're going to do a lot of debunking in real time. And are
Okay.
you recording? Is it square? Yep, you're good.
Yep.
And don't pay attention to the timer. A lot of people will freak out at the timer. The timer will stop.
anything after
You heard what?
Charles.
Charles.
Which Charles was that?
So then, if he hears something, do I put it on him?
Not necessarily. Again, I mean, everybody here it's all collective.
Yeah.
So, if Sarah actually has a high EMF going on, I may pull somebody with a spirit box over, which is probably going to be Catherine because that's her daughter.
Yeah.
So that way she can kind of see if, because basically those high EMFs is basically Eliza or maybe even Charles moving really fast by them, and then they're gone.
Okay.
Because again, she just had a 17, and it went down to
I'm
probably
pretty sure
really
I didn't
low.
hear it right, but I thought I heard "live in love." So I don't think that's right.
Is
Well,
that
again,
important?
here's the thing.
Like,
So-
how do you know what's important?
You kind of have to know your space. You have to know the ghost a little bit.
Okay.
So now, with what I just told Catherine is, don't second guess yourself. What you heard is what you heard. I can't go back and recollect this unless, of course, you're close enough to Kara for the recording. But be confident in what you heard. Don't come to me and say, "I think I heard the word red." Know that you heard red.
Okay.
Like, build some confidence up in it. So again, don't hesitate to tell me that you heard the name Charles like you just did.
I know I heard Charles. The other one was so staticky, I don't know.
You were meant to hear it at the time in the space that you actually heard it. So if you heard live and love, then you heard live and love.
Okay.
So again, do I find relevance in that right now? I don't. But again, you heard something. That's what I'm excited about. I want you to get used to your device.
And what he's picking up, any voice, that's mainly probably.
It's radio stations, mainly.
Oh, okay, so it might not be.
Oh, no.
paranormal.
We're using the radio to speak to us. Think of it as Bumblebee from Transformers.
Oh, so
Bumblebee doesn't have a
actually,
voice.
so he is like a ghost is here
Trying to communicate
trying to
with
communicate with him.
us. Right.
Gotcha. All
Okay.
right.
Not easy.
Stay close to me so I can use you on here.
What happened at the tragedy?
I just saw a little white thing go by. I don't know if it was real or not.
Oh my goodness, is that you? Was that white thing you? Yeah, I got it. 51.9, 35, 51.9.
That's crazy. Then maybe it was.
Oh my gosh.
I saw a little white
What
orb
happened
go by
at
and
the
she has a
tragedy?
51.
51.9. It just shot up.
What
When
year
I said,
was
was
the
that
tragedy?
you?
That's crazy.
We gotta tell him that. That was cool. 60,000. You heard 60,000? That was wild.
What year was the tragedy? Anything clear?
I don't want these people yelling at me on the camera.
That was wild.
happen at the tragedy.
Well, that was that you was also a yes no question. I'm gonna call him out all night long because you guys, it's just habit. Like that's just what we do. Sorry, English major. Like that's kind of my. What else have you heard on there? Anything you got something caught on there? You said you thought you saw something. So why did you say that?
That was her that
Oh.
she said that.
I don't know if it was anything, but I was standing over there looking at that wall, and and you said blue or black, but it was a white dot that shot across the wall.
That's very.
And then that's when she said it was that you, and she got like a 50 something.
51.9.
Yeah.
Pretty high.
Yeah, that's actually pretty decently high. We're going to talk about those readings now that we have readings once we regroup. Maybe that's just another minute to kind of see what else comes up out of this set, because I think you guys are onto something that I don't know about. Just want to see if you guys are going to get anything else. We're going to give you another minute. I'll do another quick lap around, and then I'll call everybody over back to the wall where we just were. So see if you can find something higher than that 51.9. But that white.
How would I rephrase something like that?
At the time. Diabetes.
That only sees it two-dimensional. So it puts white lines around like actual objects or breaks in temperature, so that way we can differentiate with our 3D eyes to be able to see what's going on in the camera. So if we had a white outline around it, and she said it shot across, that was something that was there. So.
He keeps walking around. I'm trying to.
You should.
I know. But
You don't have to keep him in there. Keep
But I can
anybody.
keep. I know. I got
We
them
all
in
paid to
it.
get filmed. Like, who cares?
I got them in it when the one shot across.
Don't film the strangers walking through,
No.
like the guy at the garbage that was sifting through. So,
Only. Hello, Sarah.
but I think they're onto something over there with that other scare boxes things I don't know about that I actually have to research. So actually, that's
Really?
why I'm giving everybody an extra minute. I just want to see if they get
Maybe I'll go see if there's anything by them.
I heard the name Jeremiah come over. This, did you?
Do I stop?
going in these locations. That is recording already.
I think I pushed something accidentally.
You did. You guys are all breaking my stuff. I fixed Danny shit too. Don't worry about it. It's good. That's so funny. Oh, look at this. You guys are doing story time.
Yeah, we are.
It really doesn't matter.
You're fine. Nice and easy stuff.
Are
So
we really sitting down?
have a seat. You can have a seat. I would normally say, because normally you guys kind of like make a half circle around me, that if another tour is going to come through here, they come out of that wall, so don't be startled if you see another tour come through there, or they'll come in the way we did. So the tour should not be coming in this way, and we're going to talk about that, at the end, because I've actually been kicked out of here. That's the fun part of the story. We're going to get to that. But anyway, welcome to Philadelphia Alley. This is one of the most beautiful spots in all of Charleston. Again, very picturesque. As you can see, it's well lit at night, and it's just as gorgeous during the daytime. And I want to make sure you are not recording at this point, so you might want to tap that button.
All right.
We definitely want to get some footage down the alley at this location, so it doesn't always have to be on me. You can probably even set it on the ground, as long as when another tour comes by, you pick it up. But at any rate, so this place used to be called Dueller's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So I say some because dueling was illegal in the 1700s, so they had to find hiding spots. This just happened to be one of them. Every ghost tour that comes down here, and I'm surprised we're the only ones down here on a Friday night, to be honest with you. Again, I don't time this, so I don't like, oh, well, they're going to leave at this time. We just go when we go. But every tour tells the exact same story. Again, I'm going to just give you the little bit extra details of what goes on inside this space. Here's how it goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. Those of you listening to your spirit boxes with the earbuds in, if you hear the song Brown-Eyed Girl while we're here, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time because it's part of the doctor's name. So you're getting my point. So Dr. Ladd moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney that's helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. So Dr. Ladd comes down to Charleston to prove that he's not going to be after her money. He's going to start his medical practice here. On his way into town, the coachman that brought him in set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay in Charleston. There was somebody walking by to see what was about to happen because he's somewhat of a local. He, had been living here for quite a while, but he knew that the coachman and that he was going to try to kill the doctor. I stop here for a second because the guy who saw what was about to happen, his name is Ralph Isaacs. He has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. We were getting the letters RI all the time on Amber's style of device, so I bought that Ouija board device that I kind of mentioned earlier to make sure we were going to get the letters consecutively, and we've had it several times in this location. I bought it specifically for this alley, and we've gotten what we needed out of it. But anyway, so Ralph tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me to 59 Church Street. You can stay with some friends of mine, rent a room, and you'll be good to go. The doctor took him up on the offer. They became friends, and the longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's cash flow. Amanda gets wind of this, and she's moving down so they can get married. Dr. Ladd now becomes known as the Whistling Doctor because men whistled all the time when they were happy in the 1700s. And what I'm going to tell you about whistling ghosts is that every haunted city you will ever visit in the future will have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. Ours just happens to be a doctor. So I'm going to get to the point of actual proof with this guy in just a minute. But Ralph and Dr. Ladd go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's just the way the hierarchy works. So on the way home, they go see Richard III, and they're arguing over this new actress that was here in town. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. So the argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. It gets very ugly. They go their separate ways. Ralph goes to his friends at the newspaper because he knows a lot of people, and he puts an ad in the newspaper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. The doctor saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Let's settle this. Somebody's going to die. So they came down. They took their 10 paces away from each other. He turned. The doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. But Ralph has his one bullet in his flintlock. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doctor doesn't die. He drops to the ground, and his friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment on November 2nd of 1786. So, why did he refuse medical treatment? The guy's a doctor. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then. He probably just tried to bleed it out because he thought it was lead poisoning. So, he failed, obviously, because he's dead. He was 22 years old. Very young. So, we do get a lot of different things about this location. What I will tell you is that every tour is going to tell you to listen for the whistles while we're down here. We have 2 cameras running plus my voice recorder. If it's going to show up, it's going to be on the audio of one of those 3 devices. In the event that you're going to try this on your own and go all the way through the alley with your voice recorders from your phones, listen to it later. But keep in mind, every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street throws a whistle right down the alley. I do it every morning. So when I leave the office, my garage, we passed it. So I have to go past the alley to be able to get to my car. So I always throw a whistle down there. However, here's what we've gotten in the past. From the spirit boxes, we've actually had whistling parts of songs. We've had the word whistle. We've gotten whistle and then doctor show up on another device. So again, these things do occur. We get the doctor's birthday here all the time. I'm not going to tell you what that is. You're going to have to let me know what numbers you're hearing when we get to the next location. You're probably all wondering how the hell I got kicked out of here. Have you heard something? I seem kind of like a hand raise, like you were in class.
No.
I know I got you guys ready for nap time.
No.
Okay, so here's how I got booted out of here. This will also show you how I pieced together a lot of the history of what we're discussing tonight. This alley didn't always go all the way through the way we came in. There was a wall up there. The reason why is because this used to be where they kept all the livestock for the city of Charleston. It was called Cow Alley back then, before it was Dueler's Alley. So, what does that mean? The bricks on the other side are older than the bricks we're sitting and standing on right now. That means those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there and fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups all the way through here when I first started doing tours around Charleston. I used to show off that brick. However, I treat it the same way I do the grave that I told you about earlier. I don't go to cemeteries because it's minimal activity. That's the last place you're going to find that slave child is staring at the one hand-printed brick that he made, right? So my group on November 26th of 2020, my full group of 10, is huddled around that brick waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's going to happen, and I'm also trying to shoo them along because it's outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful. I didn't realize I was out of bounds for tourists at that time of night. The new owner of the mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because she's on tour that night, and Dad's getting yelled at, so why the hell not laugh at him? Now, the next day, we moved on. We just got out of his way, and we just moved. So the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving mainly because I worked in retail upper management for Walmart for a good part of 20 years. I do not work Thanksgiving ever again in my life. So the next day, November 28th, the dates are relevant. I'm going to get to it, I promise. I called my partner that I had at the time that was introducing me to tourism, and I told him what happened. He's laughing at me, just like you guys just did, and my daughter did that night. And he says, you're only allowed to go down halfway or reroute the group. So I decided to stay away from the whole mess. I'm going to reroute the group. I told my team that night, I don't believe in the next story because I've never had anything happen. We're going to wing it. I'm going to tell you what I do know about pirates, but I'm a vampire guy for sure. Obviously, we're discussing pirates next. Somebody, before we left, heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them who we were going to be investigating. Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. Yeah, wait, it gets better. So, we get over there. I told them a little bit I did know about pirates, which, again, wasn't much. Tickets were much cheaper back then. I can't wing it anymore. But somebody else heard the number 300 coming out of a spirit box. I don't know what it means. I write it down. I researched the next day when I'm going through it all. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. Now, we're getting a lot of jaw drops and gasps. Now, you getting chills. I was pissed off. Here's why. It's pirates. I have a master's degree in creative writing, and I also have an English and journalism degree. Everything to me needs to be factual. Pirate stories come from pirate lore. Things that were written 100 years after the fact of when they actually occurred. I've read more books on pirates trying to make sure what we're about to discuss is going to be as legitimate as possible. Worst case scenario. First off, Anne Bonny is said to be seen all over town. We're hoping she's going to be there at the same time we are. Secondly, you're going to learn a lot of shit about pirates that you didn't know before. Unless, of course, you took a pirate tour here in Charleston. So, because we do have those as well. But it is a very fun, and I think that we have enough age group here where you don't have to keep it PG-13. So again, we're talking about a very risky, female pirate. So we're going to talk about her. Rochelle, you doing okay over there? You seem pretty quiet.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So I know the heat can get to people, and it's very warm down here.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm good.
So before we leave the space, I do like to point out the gate that Katie tried to steal my spot from. There's a reason why I like to keep it in back of me. First off, it gives me a little bit of a draft. So on these hot nights, I get a little bit cooled down on the back of the neck. Secondly, I like to point out why it's here. Remember that the alley didn't go all the way through this way? In the event there was a loser to a duel, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of this wall. So there's a courtyard on the other side of the gate, and then the cemetery for St. Philip's is just beyond that. Otherwise, remember that it's blocked off, they have to go that way, look how long the alley is, and then double back with a dead body to go drop them off in the three-dog grave before they go celebrate the winter. What would you rather do? You want a pint? You're going to go through this way. So the wrought iron probably was put there in the early 1900s when you guys got up. You'll probably see that the archway is definitely part of the original wall. You got a hand up like you're in. Either way, doesn't matter. I prefer FM, but actually, the device that Kara has now actually works off of both. So again, it's your preference. Weird phrases are weird phrases. You're probably going to hear more weird phrases on AM, just probably not as many. So kind of keep that in mind. All right, any other major questions about dueling? Because there's like a 25-page handbook of crazy rules of things you can't do when you're dueling. It's crazy old English too, by the way. I actually struggle with it reading it. All right, I say we go learn about some crazy rated R pirates. You guys ready to get out of this hot-ass alley? Because it's warm down here.
Yeah.
I rushed through this one on purpose. Let's go. And nobody got my dad joke punny of rated R pirates? Come on.
Should we turn it off, the recording?
It's up to you. Just read while we're here, and then we're going to explore the area. All right, what have we got? What have we heard along the way? We got anything? Hey, anything? Nothing at all? Amber? Nothing? Just getting all kinds of stuff.
I just heard youngin' and thanks for being here.
Yeah, as soon as we answered, it was thanks for being here. So, how's our wordless one? I'm sure you guys appreciate the honesty of it. I'm like, yeah, that's nothing. Like, I don't see anything on that at all. But anyway, so every tour that comes through here, wow, is that the tour group? It sure looks that way, doesn't it? Wow. I was just curious because I haven't seen any of the ghost tours up at all.
Any of the what?
Ghost tours. Like normally on a
That's about
Friday.
them?
Well, that's a carriage ride. I'm talking like walking tours.
Oh.
Like normally on a Friday night in July, like I'm fighting to find a space.
Is it because of the storms they canceled?
Well, the heat's been affecting a lot too. So normally on a Friday night, like I'm answering the phone all day. Like,
Mid 80s.
what do you got on there? It was like 84.7 was the last thing I saw.
Yeah, it's gone down to 83.
Ooh, we dropped a degree. But I mean, this week I haven't been sold out every night, which is odd for July for me. Because normally with the small groups, I'm sold out almost every night. I'm usually answering the phone and text messages like, sorry, I'm full, sorry, I'm full. But it hasn't been happening this week. It's too damn hot. Anyway, kudos to you, and you guys are the brave warriors. So, so why are we here? The little tiny building up there with the crosses on it that you guys saw as we came over to this location, those are not crosses. Well, first off, you need to know that's the Gunpowder magazine. It's a museum now. But those crosses on there are actual earthquake bolts. So what the hell's an earthquake bolt? It's a turnbuckle. It goes all the way through the roof and looks like that just on the other side. So in the event we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, which we have not, by the way, you can turn the turnbuckles and tighten the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. You guys have seen them on everything here in Charleston. Even this apartment building behind it, you can see the orange squares. They're actually on all four sides. So what does that mean? Those turnbuckles intercross this way, underneath the floorboards of those apartments. So again, just a stupid idea. Californians laugh their asses off at me all the time, every time I explain this. But those earthquake bolts are the reason why we're here, at least part of it. It explains the reason why. So those are the first set of earthquake bolts that we put in. So when we get closer to those crosses, you're going to see how crude they are. They're actually starting to come off the building a little bit because they've been there for so long. But the reason why those are the first ones Charleston put in is because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. It was being built at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. It's what I call a familiar. For those of you that watch the TV shows, at least within the past 2 years, you've seen where they use the Boo Buddy. It's the teddy bear with the EMF detector in it, so that way they can talk to the ghost and try to attract the child ghost. It's because it's something the child would recognize, the child ghost. Same principle. There's not many buildings this old around Charleston that Anne would actually recognize, so that's why we're here. Anyway, the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like a government, Rochelle? 10 years, small building? I don't think so. Two cents to me. So our history actually begins right in the middle of its construction. You're going to have to follow me on this one because there's a lot of twists because we're talking about a female pirate. So here's how it goes. 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The young lady's name is Anne Cormac, but the mistress is Anne's mother. Are you guys with me so far? I know, a lot of twists in this one. Wait, it gets even worse. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that she kicked him out of the country? So be nice to her. She's going to kick you up to Canada. Yeah. But anyway, it's also 1708, so they had to come here by boat. Like, that's a pretty pissed off woman, pretty scorned. Anyway, so they land in Georgetown. That's just north of here, in between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation. Mom dies pretty quickly. So that means he's sending young Anne down here now to sell things from the plantation to keep things afloat. So, hence the familiar building. Now, Anne back home in Ireland was said to be a badass even back then. They say when she was 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is ever going to be exact except for specific dates. They say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Can't tell you how many times we've had servant, knife, and belly show up on 3 different devices without the other 2 people knowing what the other 2 people are going on. So, keep that in mind. Fast forward, the building's done in 13, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. It's not Charleston yet, it's Charlestown. So, Anne's pretty stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world. Now, first guy she falls in love with, and yes, I said first because there's a handful, and that's what makes the story so damn interesting. We're going to cover them all. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going, right? Dad thought he was a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica and got married. Now Anne Cormac is Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name came from. However, when she gets down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. That's what she thinks of him. So this isn't the guy she wants. A few years go by, she falls in love again. Guy number 2, John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack. Calico Jack is the guy that they based your Johnny Depp character off of, just in case you were wondering who this guy actually was. Now, Calico Jack has his own ship. He has his own crew. and wants to be part of the crew. Can't put a female on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why? Keep it family friendly, Mom. It's bad luck. I stopped asking that question, but I was like, this group can handle it. But anyway, it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like the crew and look like the crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this. Simply because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hire from his wife. So she gets it. But she's going to be a female in his quarters. Pretty much all adults here. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl, and then they're going to vote Jack off the ship as captain, because it is a democracy on each ship. So he drops her off in Cuba. We'll have the baby, come back later, we'll figure it out. She goes and has that baby, returns without a child. I have no idea what happened to that baby. I don't know if they lived, if they didn't, if she left them, I don't know. So if you want to ask questions about it and you get a direct answer, super great. I just can't prove it. But this part of the story is significant because she comes back dressed as a female. That makes Jack pretty angry, because now his crew's going to know that he let a girl on the ship. They're going to recognize her. So, to make him even more mad, she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. On guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured.
Oh dear.
Now, I told you it's going to get twisted, right? Now, and this young lady's name is Mary Reed, by the way. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure, but the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of Navy ships to come take down one measly little pirate ship. Now, the rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up with 1-bullet flintlocks to come fight off the Navy ships. They probably don't know how to use cannon jets. They haven't been pirates for very long. Obviously, 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns are not going to work out. So, they get arrested. As they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, "I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot on your spirit boxes, even before we enter the space. That's why I listened very closely to the one you had. I was like, maybe we'll get dog tonight, or dog barking, something. Anyway, the judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. Calico Jack and the drunken crew, dead and gone and hung. They're already taken care of. So the ladies go in front of the judge, they're next, and they reveal their gender. The judge does not care that they're female. He's still going to hang them. They're still pirates, so that's the way it goes. "We plead our bellies" was the last thing they shouted to this judge, because you can't hang a pregnant woman during 1720. It's illegal. So they're trying to save themselves. And it worked. He sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He brings Anne home only, and she remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary Reed. We don't really know for sure. She has 4 kids. She dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending, because we don't know squat about her after her pirate career, basically because it's all a rumor. Some say she stayed here, others say she went up to Virginia. We don't know the exact number of kids, and the most common number I found was the number 4 plus the one in Cuba. Mary Reed dies 5 months later in April of 1721 from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books will tell you that it was something simple like fever. I say bullshit. Let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? We're talking pirates. So, here's the things I left out of here, because I'm not going to assign questions. You guys all know what you're doing by now. So the things I left out on purpose, so you had something to work with, the names of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I did not tell you what those names were, so you can ask that question. You can ask the color of Anne Bonny's hair. You keep getting it, which is the color red. So if you wanted something simple, by all means, go for it. I left out the name of the city where Anne Bonny grew up in Ireland. So that's a 1-syllable city, so you might get that on yours as well. Last but not least, the name of Calico Jack's ship. Everything else is fair game. Ask whatever the hell you want to. This is not a prominent English woman where we have to tiptoe around her like Eliza Pinckney. Poke the bear if you need to. Just stay out of the way of the other ghost tours that are coming by. And these are apartments, so those of you with cameras, do not film the apartment building when somebody's peeking out of what the hell's going on out here. And of course, we have, I think, 3 cars left in the lot. If you want to get close up to the powder magazine, that is a little bench over there made out of brick. If you guys want to go actually have a seat and do your spirit box work up there, by all means, do so. But I'm going to check on the weather again and do a quick 1 or 2 round robins to see what this is going on here. Let's check in with Rochelle first, because she's been staring down the whole time. What do you got going on?
No. Nothing.
I'm worried about you, sweetheart. Like, you've been really quiet. I thought you were going to be like all gung-ho and like screaming things out, but she's been very quiet.
I know, because I'm trying to make it kind of go with what you're saying. And,
well, let it happen.
I mean, I got Josephine, and that's really only the name.
Yeah,
Chief.
What's funny is you have the word smoke on there, and we do get the word fire here a lot. There is like 15 stories on this corner, which is why I'm looking around and not seeing any ghost stories. That's why I'm surprised. The St. Philip's Church did catch fire at one point. This particular building, I can't find anything that was like destructive as far as fire, but it does have like, you know, some fire damage to it, but nothing like that was super destructive of the construction. But again, it's just weird that you have the word smoke and not fire. So we're going to keep it going. EMF, Sarah, on your end.
It's been at 0 since standing here.
Don't get excited when you get them to the two corners up there. We do have two electrical poles that will influence it, like 5 to 9. And then the parking meters have the electrical lines underneath the sidewalks on the other side of the bushes. Normally, if we get EMF on this back half of the lot, I'm excited. Don't expect the Pinckney Mansion site type readings. That 51.9, like that's an anomalous thing for that space. I'm excited about a 2.5 here. So we're going to go back to our base of 2.5. You got to you got to kind of know your ghost a little bit. You got to know your space. Again, I've been coming here now since obviously 2020, so I've been coming here a while. You got to get to know these people. So, Katie, you got anything coming on that thing?
Nah, it's just kind of been gibbering.
Okay, so gobbledygook?
Yep.
Okay, got it. The largest orb I've ever caught in my 11 years of business.
What did he say? Oh, what's the name of the ship? Ship. What is your father's name? Nothing. What is your father and his mistress' name?
What about the kids?
What is your father and his mistress' name? What is 24? What is your father? What is your father and his mistress' name?
What about the kids' names?
What are your children's names? Let's see if I can even though we know the color. What color is your hair?
What happened to the child in Cuba?
What happened to your child in Cuba? Made nothing. What was the name of the ship? Let's see more over here. What is the name of the ship? What is your father's name? Anne? I heard Anne. But isn't her name Anne? Yeah.
Maybe she's letting you know who's talking.
What is the name of your father and his mistress? 153. What is the name of the ship? 1500. Right down the road.
Where did she bury the treasure?
Where did you bury the treasure? What is the name of the ship? I like been getting so much over there though.
Think anything next to the palms?
We heard. What is the name of your father and mistress? So I got 153. I got 1500. I got 24, and I got Anne. I don't know if any of.
153, 1500.
Anne came in like clear as day. And so did 1500.
So one of the first nights I used that, we had a really light night, like not a whole lot of EMF anywhere, and this used to be the last stop. And I'm packing things up, and the person that handed that back to me, pirate, plain as day. We all heard it, and the person with the thermal was standing right next to him, and it wasn't like part of a sentence like Pittsburgh Pirates win the game kind of stuff.
Right.
Like, it was a legitimate pirate.
Oh my god.
It was so cool. Like, I was stoked. It's probably one of the best pieces we've had out of that. Where I
That's so
taught
cool.
it. Yeah.
That's so cool.
This is what?
I was trying to. What is your father and mistress's name?
No, that would have been her mom.
William?
It was William.
William just came through. What did I get wrong?
You asked what her mistress's name was.
No, I said, what is your father and mistress's name?
Yeah, but that's her mom. That's her mother.
Her mother is the
mistress.
But who's William?
The father.
Oh, well, William came through, so
Yeah.
I got the father's
You
name.
do get the father's name.
What is your mother's name?
What is your mother's
it's
name?
Simple. What's your mother's name? Like that. Instead of like, what's your father's mistress's name? She doesn't look at her that way.
What is your mother's name?
We walk over that way.
What is your mother's name? What is the name of the ship? What is your mother's name? So, what is your mother's name?
Molly?
You heard Molly?
I don't know.
What is your mother's name? That's what we're telling you. What is your mother's name?
Because I said Molly, maybe that's what we're telling you? I'm gonna ask. I don't know if it's placebo effect or not, but
What is your mother's name?
go back to the left where you got most of the stuff.
What?
Go right that way.
What is your mother's name? What is the name of the ship?
Is Molly your mother's name?
He said don't do yes or no questions.
Okay.
Who is your mother?
Who is Molly?
Did that just say mother? Who is Molly? Mother. I heard mother.
That's it.
Alright. So is Molly the mother? No. Told you. But so we heard Molly, but then I said, who is your mother? And it says, I'm trying to tell you. And then over there we said, who is Molly? And I heard mother. But Molly's not the mother.
That has nothing to do with anything.
Unless it's the accent that's wrong.
What's the mother's name?
Mary.
It could be that.
Maybe we're getting it slightly off. She didn't think she heard Molly. I heard
Let's see
Molly.
what Katie's got. 'Cause
I heard senior.
she's
I don't know what that means. I don't know. He heard Molly, and
I
didn't
wasn't
really
sure.
hear, but maybe it is Mary.
Yeah, I heard
You see
something.
where I'm going with that Irish accent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but then I said,
Molly.
what is your mother's name? And I heard, I'm trying to tell you. And then
Molly's a nickname for Mary.
Is it?
That's a hot spot, and over there is a hot spot. And that's when I went back over there and I said, who is Molly? And I heard mother. Direct mother.
I heard Sierra, but I don't know if that's like a Sarah or something.
That's her name.
That's my name. Sarah's
Trying to
my
get-
name.
You didn't.
I don't know for sure, but I think I heard Sarah. I don't know. Who did you bring?
I hope my Nana. I would love
Is
if
her
I
name
brought my
Molly?
Nana.
Is that
No.
Nina? Oh, I don't
Laura.
Laura. What was the name earlier?
Something's going. It was Lillian. Lillian. And Josephine.
Why is yours beeping?
Lillian and Josephine came up.
I just remember an L
And Jeremiah.
What is the name of the What is the name of the ship?
Ask her what happened to John Rockham.
What?
What happened to Captain Rockham?
What happened to Captain Rockham? What happened to Captain Rockham? Huh?
I've been talking to your Nana.
You've been talking to my Nana. Oh, I would love that.
Yeah, look, you're talking and it's like coming up.
Oh, I would love her. I have her ring on.
She's with you. She's here.
Ask your Nana something.
Um,
If your Nana's here.
Yeah.
what
this
is my
not
Nana's
some-
name? Oh, I kind of already said it though. What is my Nana's name? Or I could say, what is my dad's name? Or something. No. What is the name of the ship you were on?
That was wild. Because this has been on zero the whole time, and then whenever
She talks about it.
I started talking about, are you sure it's Nana? And then it starts registering.
Nana? Whoa, whoa. I'm like getting so much, but I can't even make it
I
out.
could have sworn I just heard name, like nah, like somebody
Yeah,
singing. Nah,
actually,
nah.
now that he says that, that's what it was.
And
What I
you
heard.
just asked about your Nana.
And this is so weird because it's been on zero the whole time, and then whenever I started talking about her Nana, are you? Yeah, it's starting to register again.
What's
whenever I keep
cooking?
saying it. Hello.
Your Nana used to cook.
My Nana was a chef.
Did you bring Grandma with you?
I mean, I brought my Nana's wedding ring.
Oh, well,
Maybe. I wear it every day.
He's like, of course.
She's right there, right there, right there. Jeez, that scared me. Now it's at 3.1.
we'll take it 3-1. That's actually exciting in this location. Yeah.
Kara, she's getting readings at 3.1. I would stay close to this.
Yeah, just stay close over here.
Stay close over here.
Well, it's probably with you.
Oh.
She wasn't getting readings until the Nana
I'm
thing
still-
came up.
Yeah, that was really
That's
cool.
crazy. But that has nothing to do with Anne.
It doesn't. Oh, I mean,
A
I've had
ghost
vets
is a
on
ghost.
this tour where
You've had what?
I've had vets on the tour where it doesn't matter what piece of history I'm talking about. If they lost a buddy overseas in the desert, in Desert Storm or something, that's the only thing that's coming through the entire night. I've seen it.
That's crazy.
I still tell the history because that's what they signed up for, and they're good with it. I'm like, we can just go around and talk to your buddy Joe or whoever it is all
I
night
know,
if you want
it's
to.
ghost hunting, right? It's not anything
Yeah.
put
And
together.
it's always on you?
your ring.
Your ring. You wear it all the time?
Every day.
You're talking to her, Nana! This is so wild. She's talking to her Nana. She brought her Nana.
Oh, that's what made me
Wild.
cry.
It's these personal experiences that make the day for me.
I don't know what to say.
I have no idea. It didn't sound like the radio though. There was like no static in there whatsoever.
Registering 00 the whole time until we started talking about Nana, and then it went up to 3.1. And it keeps registering at like pretty low.
Laura, can you tell us what she's always got on her? Can you be very specific? There's a lot of boxes here you can use. Everybody's listening and watching for words that you can give us. hoping it would pop up on something easy like Rochelle's. It's like dead silent for everybody right now, just like
Except
this.
mine is, it's like at 1, which is low, but it's higher than it has been.
Yeah, but that could still be coming up from the earth.
That's true.
So, nothing coming out of yours, Amber? At all?
She left me.
Okay, she'll be back. Let's go over to the wall. We'll wrap this one
I'm
up.
just
The
curious.
song I had playing, I just want to bring out your love tonight. But I don't know.
I was just singing that earlier.
It's aside. For your
No way. I was literally in my head. I was like, yeah.
It says, if it's too popped up, it's electrical.
2.1.
Still not the highest. I have a 3.1.
Yeah, I wrote down the 3 was. Alright, I know you think you're on the phone with Grandma, but we're going to go ahead and mute that for now. I can give you the answers and tell you what's next going to happen in the next
You want me to hang
location.
up?
Yeah, let's go ahead and mute it. So, by the way, I'm so glad that everybody kind of was okay with coming in here, because this is one of the spaces where sometimes I've had females that don't want to enter the space at all. And this is also a place why I give that heated warning at the top of the night for you. Here's why. About a year and a half ago in September, I took my group to the back just like I normally do, and the kid next to me starts to faint, like he's passing out. It's September. It's not that hot. He's not overdressed, but he's literally fainting before our very eyes. I pick him up by his armpit very quickly as I'm trying to take off my bag, and so that way he doesn't hit his head on the ground. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side, and we brought him right to where Katie's sitting right now. So we got him some water, he's feeling better. I then told him the story of Anne Bonny. This used to be the last stop, so we got one more to go for us. But again, I told everybody, last hurrah, go have fun. Those two guys pulled me aside and say, Nick, we have to tell you, we are 2 transgender males. I had 2 females dressed like males, just like Anne and Mary in the story on the tour. It's kind of explains why one of them about passed out, but it's still unexplainable. So that's the reason why I give those heated warnings, because I never know what's going to happen. If I get a psychic or a medium in this group, I try everything I can to make sure they do not get a spirit box. That's 2 different types of communication that they don't need. They're normally going to pass out, and they're not making it past those 51.9s like what we had back there. And they normally don't tell me that they're a psychic or a medium until they're on a gurney going to the emergency room. So, yeah, so that's why I like to have you guys show up early. That way I can kind of get a feel for you guys, and kind of get a gist of what have you done in the past, how excited are you, you know, that kind of thing. So if you're not like super excited like the way you guys showed up, that means you've done this before, and you just want to kind of see my methods. You know, that's why I do what I do. So anyway, let's kind of go over the answers, because you guys got all quiet on me again. I'm super excited for you, by the way. So I love when things like that are just personal to one person, so that way you actually feel like you actually had a connection. And again, it's not intentional, but when they do happen, I'm super stoked. So let's go over Anne Bonny stuff, and then I'll tell you about the next space, because it's a lot different than what we've been doing. Yeah, you guys can have a seat. Does everybody want to sit down, and I'll just face one direction?
That sounds good.
Okay.
Are you recording?
Yeah, have a seat, guys.
Oh, cool. I was like, I'll stand, but okay.
Have a seat. We're going to be here for at least a few more minutes. Okay. All right, so one of the few pictures you can find of Anne Bonny where she actually has a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bare her breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. I told you, this chick was a badass. And I do get a lot of teenage boys on this group, and I don't need angry moms going back. So this is why I show you this picture. The names of her parents were William and Mary. So what's funny is we normally will get William and Mary as one phrase out of one spirit box. So luckily enough, we did get a direct answer. I didn't hear it directly, but that was like the first thing out of your mouth that you heard. So I'm pretty, convinced that that's exactly what you heard. So we did get a direct answer. By the way, Mary Brennan, this was not a secondary subliminal trick. We just happen to have 2 different Marys in the story. But Mary Brennan, the mom, was actually a servant for the Cormac family. So I'm sure you can see where that scandal evolved with the angry wife kicking the husband out of Ireland. So that's a whole nother 30-minute story that we don't need to discuss. So again, you can see how much research I do on these people. Calico Jack, let me show you what he looked like, because everybody wants to see what they base Johnny Depp off of, especially when I have a group of women in front of me. So Calico Jack, you guys aren't getting the jokes. Come on, Rochelle's down there grinning. So Calico Jack was named that because of the jackets that he wore. They came from British captains that he killed. His father was a tailor, and textiles were very important to him and his dad. Calico Jack translates to fancy jacket. That's where the name comes from. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. I don't expect the word Kingston to come out of the regular spirit boxes other than Kara's. The reason why, that one will pick up more disembodied voices than, say, the other ones. It's not that I haven't picked up disembodied voices out of those style, but that one particularly, I can usually tell right away when it's disembodied. So, the name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland was called Cork, like you cork a bottle. So, again, one syllable answer there, and obviously her hair color was red. Here's what's... Do you guys have any other major questions about pirates? Because, again, I've read probably every damn book on pirates. All right, yeah, fair enough. If you're really interested in pirates, I suggest if you can take some of the sexual orientations of things. Black Sails, amazing series, by the way. Absolutely amazing. So, loved it. Calico Jack was my favorite character in there, by the way. He was really good. The actor portrayed him really well. But anyway, where we're going next. We're going to go up to Washington Square. But we're going to be doing the Estes method only. So here's how this is going to go. Just because I can see Katie's getting kind of bored with some of the history pieces of this, we're going to actually put blindfold on her and noise-canceling headphones, and she's not going to know the history of the location. So she's going to be sitting with Miss Kara. I want to see how this is going to go for you. So, sorry, Amber. But
that is fine by me. I would have let someone else go, please.
Your job's going to be completely different.
Okay.
So the two of you are going to be sitting on the bench, not knowing the history, while I take every other person here, like 10 feet away. Mom, if you're okay with that, like we're going to have her in sight. And you guys are just going to sit and be besties for 5 to 10 minutes while I give everybody else the history. But your job is going to be a new part of this whole Estes method technology. So somebody decided to take the blindfolded noise-canceling headphone method, because she's just going to repeat everything she hears from her spirit box, and hopefully it's going to be answers to my questions, but she's not going to know what the questions are.
Is it going to be this one?
If that's the one you want. Are you good with that?
I don't
Okay.
care.
See, I have another one, but I mean, that one works just as well.
Okay.
So, and you already brushed your own earbuds. So there you go. I don't have to waste a quarter today. Because that's what those things cost me. Your job. You're going to have a VR headset on, and it is going to produce images based off the magnetometer of my phone. They are images that have never been generated before because they're being generated from the AI and the environment around us. You're going to be telling us in very simple terms of what you're seeing. Everybody's going to be able to see those visuals afterwards because I'm going to scroll through the phone and show you what those visuals look like, but it's also going to go in your data when I give you your link back tomorrow morning so you can analyze the hell out of them. Yes?
What do you mean noise canceling headphones?
So just like they use like at a shooting range, they're just headphones that go over top of your spirit box, like your regular earbuds.
The left earbud doesn't work.
Okay, I'll give you a new set. You'll be good. But this AI thing, have you guys ever seen AI generate an image? It's very interesting. So I use it all the time for my social media stuff and my Google updates. I just say, hey, give me 2 ghosts in a graveyard in a cartoon format, and it'll give me 2 ghosts in a graveyard, and it shows that I have 2 tickets left for the night. Like, that'll be the post that I make. So I just tell it what I want it to do. It's not going to be me visually telling my phone what to do with this particular app. It's going to be using basically the EMF around us to generate the images. And the hope here is that the images that Kara's going to see are going to line up with what Katie's telling us. Does that make sense to everybody? So that'll
But I don't know what she's telling you either.
You're not going to have noise canceling headphones on. You're even going to hear my questions. You're just going to make quick descriptions like, hey, I see a brick wall with a little palm tree in it.
Okay.
Like, very simple, because she's hopefully going to be spouting off a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So you're going to have to kind of catch her in between. You're going to be able to hear everything, just not see what we're doing.
Okay.
So we're all going to be huddled around you. Everything's going to be completely safe, and everything's been sanitized as far as what I hand you. Because again, I go through sanitation wipes that you guys don't believe. And I have the cleanest equipment in all the world. And you're laughing at me like, holy cow. But yeah, it's a thing. Like, I take 20 minutes every day to clean everything. I have to. This stuff goes on your guys' face, you're handling it, so forth and so on. But along the way, you don't need to film anything. We're going up about 2.5 blocks. By the way, let me ask this while you guys are all seated. Where did everybody park? Where do you guys need to go after we're done?
We dropped a pin. We're
Which house?
The Mill House Hotel.
Oh, we're going to be right across the street from that.
We're on
like a
Anson
block
Street.
and a half. Oh.
What is it?
Anson Street?
So you're going to be pretty close to where we started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably about a 10-minute walk on your end. Amber and
We're
Rochelle.
Vindu or Vindu?
Perfect. So I can get you back too. Because you guys will walk back with me a little bit, but you'll take Queen Street and it'll drop you right off right in
Yeah,
front of
it's
it.
like a 7-minute walk.
Yeah, it's not far. I just like to make sure I get you guys, at least relatively close. All right. So we ready to blindfold some people? Sound like fun? Are you okay with me blindfolding her, by the way?
No. Okay.
Well, I'm not going to be blindfolding her. I'm putting her in a VR headset.
Yeah.
So.
Does Marissa mean anything?
No, not to my knowledge, but again, that's a very interesting name that could be from a lot of different time periods. I like it. It's not like, Jennifer, where it's going to be, super recent within the past 100 years. All right. Are you okay, Mom, with me blindfolding her, by the way? I normally ask permission ahead of time, but again, I just kind of...
So when we're walking, we don't need
Oh, you definitely want to listen along the way.
okay.
I'm just going to take it from you when we get there, because we're not going to need it.
Just stop recording.
Yeah, you don't need to record along the way. We are going to be passing the circular church grave. Blindfolding and putting headsets on females in the middle of a dark park in the middle of the night, it never looks good. So when we're filming this, we're going to obviously huddle around you pretty good. So you might need some help. So Danny, we might stop that and have you take the camera.